let me welcome all of you in this course, Electrical Technology. And so this is a very basic course regarding electrical circuits. In fact, this is the first course in electrical engineering that one may have, and I am your instructor in this course. So before we start, let me just make a few requests. So first of all, I am not always perfect and I may often make mistakes. So it will be very helpful for me as well as for your friends. If you ever find any mistake, please point that out to me immediately. Okay, and also if you have any doubts, any question, any confusion, please feel free to ask that. Just unmute yourself and ask that question, or you may also raise your hand and then ask the question. Okay, this course, this subject, I hope will be quite easy. At least it will not be very difficult. That's what I feel, because you have already studied a bit of electrical circuits in your schools, and I hope you remember it to some extent. Okay, so let us start maybe with some small problems involving electrical circuits. Okay, so suppose we have a battery and say we have a few resistances. Okay, suppose this is R1, R2, R3. I can also give you the values. Say this is 2 ohm, 2 ohm and 1 ohm. And say I also tell you, suppose here the current is 10 ampere, and I ask you to solve this circuit. Okay, so what do I mean by solving the circuit? I mean that find out all the currents in all the branches and all the voltages across all the branches. Okay, say for example, how much is say this current here? Okay, call it I0. Then say how much is this current? I1. Then say how much is this current? I2, I3. Find out all their values, how much these currents are, as well as find out how much is the voltage of or the EMF of this battery, E. How much is that? Or how much is the voltage?
5 volts.
Very quick. Okay. So that's excellent. Excellent. So you are saying this is 5 volt. You can actually solve it in many different ways, and some ways are quicker than others. So good, very good. Okay, so I can also ask you how much is I1, how much is I2 and I3, etc.
I1 is 2.5, I2 is 2.5, I3
And I3 is 5.
Okay, very good, excellent. So that's very excellent. I didn't expect you to do it so quickly. Okay, so you can do it in many different ways. So one possible way is like this. Say I assume say the voltage from here to here is V. Okay, suppose this voltage from this point to this point is V. I don't know how much is V, and this is how I denote this voltage using the symbols. But you know, this is not complete unless and until I put some plus minus sign. Okay, when I put this plus minus sign, that means I assume that this side is at a higher voltage compared to this side. Okay, without this plus minus sign, my symbols are incomplete. Now, once I assume that this side is V volt, is at V volt higher potential than compared to this side, then immediately I can write using Ohm's law for this resistance. I can write that V will be equal to I3 multiplied by R3, right? And since all these resistances are connected in parallel, then I can also say that I2 times R2 is also equal to V, and in the same way, this is equal to I1 times R1. Okay, you can also write this in this way, that this is equal to I3 whole divided by 1 by R3, then this is equal to I2 whole divided by 1 by R2, and similarly I1 by 1 by R1. Okay, and if so, now I can write that all these quantities are equal to sum of the numerators I1 plus I2 plus I3 whole divided by 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Now, I1 plus I2 plus I3, these three currents together must be equal to 10 ampere. Okay?
10 ampere.
So, this is equal to 10 ampere, and then the values of R1, R2 and R3 you can put. So, that will be 1 by 1 by 2, 1 by 2 and 1 by 1.
3. 2.
2. Okay, so this will be
The final answer
5 volt. Okay, so as you already correctly pointed out, this will be this voltage, this should also be equal to V because they are all connected in parallel. So this should be definitely equal to 5 volt. And now once you know this voltage is 5 volt, okay, then you can find out how much is I1, I2 and I3. So I1 will be equal to, so I1 R1 is equal to 5 volt. So this will be 5 volt divided by R1, and R1 is 2 ohm. So this is 2.5 ampere. In the same way, you will get I2 also 5 volt by R2, 2.5 ampere, and I3 will be 5 volt by R3, which is 1, so it will be 5 ampere. Okay, so this is one way of solving this. Another way is basically you combine these resistances, they are in parallel, so 2 will become 1. So if you do in that way, it will be quite faster. Okay, however, so while solving this, we have used one very basic principle of electrical engineering or electrical circuits. What is that? This is called
Ohm's law.
Ohm's law is this, that voltage is current times resistance, but here we have used the principle that sum of these three currents is equal to this current, which is
Kirchhoff's
Kirchhoff's current law. Excellent.
Kirchhoff.
Excellent.
Junction.
A junction law or current law,
Junction law.
which says that the sum of the currents that enter any junction in a circuit should be equal to the sum of the currents that is leaving that junction or node. We also call it a node. Okay, so why is that so? Why is it that the total current entering should be equal to the total current leaving any junction? Because
the charge is not getting stored anywhere.
excellent, because
Conservative
otherwise,
in nature. The charge is conservative.
yes, absolutely right. You all of you are right. If that is not the case, then charge will start getting stored at that point, and if that happens, then that means the potential of that point should also keep changing as charge is getting accumulated, and that is not possible in steady state. Okay, in steady state, the circuit, all potential etc. should remain unchanged. So in steady state, therefore, total current entering a junction must be equal to the total current leaving that junction. So that principle we have used while solving this problem. So that means you have already studied this in school, as you have correctly pointed out. And there is another Kirchhoff's principle, which is called
Kirchhoff's loop law.
loop law
Kirchhoff's
or
voltage law.
voltage law.
Kirchhoff's voltage law.
Excellent.
Voltage law.
So that is voltage law or loop law or mesh law, you can call it. What does that tell? It tells that in a circuit, in any circuit, for example in this circuit, if you consider any circular path or loop, for example this is a circular path, okay, and if you add all the voltage rise from one point to another point in a closed path, then the total voltage rise in a closed path should be 0. As well as that is true in any other loop, like this loop, or you consider a loop like this. Okay. Always, so for example, here to here I have a voltage rise of 5 volt, and then here there is no voltage rise or drop, but here there is a voltage drop of same amount, 5 volt. Okay, so if you consider voltage rise to be positive and voltage drop to be negative, then when you add all those quantities, you will get 0. Okay, so that is called voltage, Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, very good. Now, okay, let's take a small example with Kirchhoff's voltage law, maybe. Suppose I have a battery and I call it, and I say that this is 10 volt, this is a 10 volt battery, but if I just say this is 10 volt, that is incomplete. I also have to say which side is at higher potential and which side is at lower potential with a plus and minus sign. Okay, and then suppose I have a set of resistances, suppose 1 ohm, then 3 ohm, and say then 6 ohm, etc. And then if I ask how much is the voltage drop across this middle resistance, if I call it V, how much is V?
3 volt. 3 volts.
3 volt.
You are absolutely right, but my diagram is still incomplete, because I have to say which side I am considering positive, which side I am considering negative. Okay, if I say this side I am considering positive, then as you have correctly pointed out, this value will be 3. Okay, but if I say that this side is plus and this side is minus, then this will be minus 3. Yeah, you are absolutely right. Okay, so unless and until I give the proper symbols plus and minus, my diagram is incomplete, and therefore we cannot get the correct answer without these symbols. Okay, so how did you solve? You might have solved in this way, that okay, the same current must flow through all these resistances. If it is I here, same current I must flow through all the resistances. Okay, and then we know from this point to this point there is a 10 volt voltage rise. So 10 volt rise. Then here there is a voltage drop from here to here, which is given by I multiplied by 1 ohm, and I consider it to be negative because this is a voltage drop. Then here I have I multiplied by 3 ohm drop and I multiplied by 6 ohm drop. Okay, so all this together must add up to 0, so then you can say that 10 volt is equal to, you can take this I common, I, and then 1 plus 3 plus 6 ohm. So from this you can get the current will be 10 by 10, 1 ampere, and if the current is 1 ampere, then this voltage drop will be 1 multiplied by 3, 3 volt. Okay, 3 volt. Okay, so one message for all of you is that in a diagram, in a circuit diagram, be very careful about the plus minus symbols and your conventions, otherwise mistakes may occur. Okay, acha. Now in these simple circuits, okay, we have basically two types of elements, resistance and a source. Okay, so we have two elements so far. One is resistance. So let us talk about the properties of a resistance. So properties of a resistance is given by Ohm's law. Okay, what it says, so this is a symbol of a resistance, you all know this, and it's the Ohm's law says if the current flowing through a resistance is I, then the voltage across the resistance, if that is V, and if the value of the resistance is R, then these three quantities are related as V is equal to IR, right? I have to put the plus minus sign, without which this is not correct. Okay, if the current is flowing from left to right, and if I am considering the left side to be at higher potential, then Ohm's law says the voltage and the current are related by this equation. You can also say that, okay, if I consider the current flowing from left to right, resistance R, but if I consider the right side to be at higher potential plus and left side to be at lower potential minus, then I have to write, I cannot write V equal to IR. Then what do I have to write? Either minus V
P plus IR. P is equals to minus IR.
yeah, minus V equal to IR, or you can write V equal to minus I
Minus
times
I.
R. Okay, so be very, very careful about these symbols. Okay, so basically this is the this is all you need to know about a resistance. Acha. Now, if I take a piece of resistance and say, so I suppose take a piece of resistance and I apply a voltage across it. Okay, and suppose I have a controllable voltage source, I can vary this voltage. So therefore what will happen? As I increase this voltage, the current through the resistance will also increase. And now I can measure the value of this current for different values of the applied voltage. Okay, let me call it V plus minus. Okay, then I record the different values of current that flows for different values of the applied voltage, and then with those records or readings, I plot a graph. Okay, suppose y-axis is the voltage and x-axis is the current through the resistance. This is R. Then how will the graph look like?
Straight line.
It will be a straight
line
line passing through the origin.
Origin.
Okay, so and the slope is determined by the value of this resistance. Okay, higher the resistance,
Yes.
this slope will be higher. Okay, so this is the VI characteristic of a resistance. Okay, so that's all I want to tell you about resistance. Now, in all these circuits, the other thing that I am using is a source, like a battery. Now, let's talk about the source. Okay, so first of all, the symbol of the source that I am using is like this. Okay, I can say this is a 6-volt battery, or maybe 1.5-volt battery, which is more common, which you use for your calculators and other things. Sometimes we also use this symbol, a circle with a plus minus sign. I can also say this is a 6-volt battery. Now, what are the important properties of this source? The main property is that the voltage or the potential difference across the two terminals of this source, or here, from here to here, that is always fixed. That is always given by the value of the source. Okay, so the voltage or potential difference across the two, across the source or between the two terminals of the source is always given by the value of the source. Okay. However, how much current will flow through the source? How much will be this current or this current? That we cannot say, because that depends on what we connect across this source. Okay. So, the current through the source depends on what we connect across it. Okay, so for example, if I connect here a 2 ohm resistance, then this current will be 3 ampere. If I connect, say, 3 ohm resistance, then this will change to 2 ampere. Okay, so if I change what I connect here, then this current will change. But what remains fixed is the voltage, which is given by the value of this source. Okay, therefore, these sources that I am showing here, they are called voltage sources. Okay, because the value of the voltage is always specified by the value of the source, but the current through it is never known. Current can have any value. In fact, the current can have any direction. It can be, now it is flowing from bottom to top, but if I take the same source and suppose I connect a resistance and another source which is stronger than this source, suppose this is 6 volt, this is 12 volt, then what will happen? The current will flow in the opposite direction. So current through a voltage source can flow in any direction and can have any magnitude or any value, but the value of the voltage is always fixed or given by the value of the source. That's why these are called voltage sources, and this is the symbol. These are the symbols. Okay. Now, if I take a voltage source and suppose I connect a resistance and I change the value of this resistance. Okay, and suppose this is, let me call it E. E for EMF, plus minus. Okay, if I change the value of this resistance, then current through it will change, and I note down how much current flows for different values of this resistance, and I also note down how much is the voltage from here to here. Okay, with some measuring instrument, I note down how much is the voltage from here to here and how much current flows for different resistance values. And then suppose I plot a graph with the y-axis as the voltage and x-axis as the current. How will this graph look like?
Horizontal line parallel to x-axis.
Excellent. So it will be a horizontal line parallel to the x-axis, because if you decrease this resistance, then current will increase, but this voltage will always remain same and equal to this value, this E, whatever is the value of this voltage source. Okay, so this is how the graph will look like. In fact, I can also extend this graph to the negative side, because I can put another voltage source if I want, and if this source is stronger than this source, I mean if the value of this voltage is higher than E, then current may flow in the opposite direction. But no matter how much current is flowing or in which direction it is flowing, this voltage from here to here will always remain fixed, constant E. Okay, fine. Any questions so far?
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So what's the difference between a battery and the voltage source?
At this point you think they are same, but maybe in 10-15 minutes you will come to this. Okay, we'll come to this. At this point you think they are same.
Okay.
Sir, sir, we have drawn a graph regarding same example before, sir. Sir, we have drawn another graph, right, sir? Before, yeah, sir, this one.
Yes.
Sir, here the resistance is not decreasing, right?
In this experiment, we are taking a fixed value of resistance and we are changing the applied voltage. Okay, you see this arrow means we are changing it. Okay, so this is a fixed resistance, but applied voltage is changing, therefore current is also changing. However, in the next experiment which we have done here we are taking this source to be fixed and this resistance we are changing. Okay, so this graph is the property of this source, whereas this graph is the property of this resistance. Okay, is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, in the second graph of voltage to current ratio, why we have plotted the current in the negative side?
Yeah, because I can do this experiment by taking another source. Okay, suppose this is 5E. Okay, so this is stronger than this. Okay, and then now if I change this resistance, the current will actually always flow from right to left because this source is stronger, right? Okay, so now you see this is my source and we are studying the property of this source. Okay, so we are keeping this constant, but what we are connecting outside it, that we can change. And by changing these outside elements, we are recording the value of this current and this voltage for different settings. Okay, so by
Okay,
taking another source, I can pass this current in opposite direction. But still this voltage will remain same.
graph,
Yes, please.
sir, in the second graph, the slope is always 0, sir. Does this not signify the resistance, sir?
Here this slope is always 0, and this graph
Yes.
is the property of this source. Okay, so this graph is the property of the source, voltage source in this case. Okay, so this is not depicting the property of the resistance. So therefore, I can change the value of the resistance, and that should not come in this picture, because this picture is not about the resistance. This picture is about the source. Okay.
Okay.
So the slope is always 0. Acha. Now, next thing. Okay, so what can we do with these graphs? Okay. Now, suppose I give you a source. Okay, suppose I know that this is 2 volt, and suppose let me make it say 4 volt, and I take a resistance which is say 2 ohm. Okay, now what I will do, I will plot the property of this resistance and the source together. Okay, suppose I draw a graph, current axis, voltage axis, and then I draw the property of this resistance. How will that be? That will be a straight line passing through the origin with a slope of 2. Okay, and then with black color I plot the property of this source. Okay, so that will be like this, and this point will be how much? 4 volt.
4.
Okay, now can you tell me what will happen if I connect this two together in series? How much current will flow? Without using Ohm's
2
law.
ampere.
It's true. But can you tell me how can I find that using these graphs?
Intersection point of the line.
Excellent. It will be the
Intersection
it
point
will
of
be
the
the
The intersection.
The intersection point.
it will be this point, right? So
y.
yes, sir.
Can find that.
okay, so using these graphs you can also solve circuits, although this is a very simple circuit, but sometimes it will be very useful. Okay, very good, excellent. Now next thing that we will learn will probably be a new thing for us. Okay, so we said that these are called voltage sources because the voltage across it is always given by the value of the source, but the current can have any value. Now you can guess, if there is something called a voltage source, then there may be something also called a current source. Okay, so there is something called a current source. And the symbol of a current source is like this, a circle with an arrow. Okay, and then I can say that this is a 10 ampere source. What is the property of this current source, or how it works? It is
It provides constant current.
exactly.
It provides constant current.
Exactly.
7 ampere current.
Yeah. So the current through the source is always given by the value of the source, in this case 10 ampere. But how much is the voltage across the two terminals of this source? Voltage across the source,
So that will depend.
that depends,
Depend on
Depend what is
excellent,
connected.
depends
on the-
on
what is depends on what is connected in the
what is
circuit.
connected. Excellent. Connected across it.
It will
Okay.
linearly vary with it.
Absolutely, you all are right. So, for example, if I now take this source 10 ampere, and if I now connect a resistance, okay, then if suppose this is 1 ohm, then the voltage here will be 10 volt from here to here. But if I change this resistance, if I say make it 2 ohm, then immediately it will become 20 volt. Yeah, I have to put this plus minus sign, otherwise it is incomplete. Okay, so you can think that a current source is a automatically adjusted source which adjusts its voltage so that the current is always the same. Okay, so probably this is something new which you have not studied in school. Okay, but this also exists. Now, you were asking that how a voltage source is different from a battery. So in very briefly, let me tell you that the battery that you get from market, that you use in your calculator, other things, mobiles, etc., they behave almost like a voltage source. Not exactly like a voltage source, but almost like a voltage source. On the other hand, you may know about the photovoltaic cells, solar cells. Okay, solar cells, they behave somewhat like a current source. Not exactly, but somewhat. What do I mean by somewhat? That I will clarify now. Okay, so these things that we have talked about here, they are called ideal current sources or ideal voltage sources. Now, suppose you get a battery from the market. Okay, maybe 1.5 volt. Okay, then that behaves somewhat like a voltage source, but not exactly like a ideal voltage source. Why? Because if you take a battery, okay, and if you connect a resistance across it, and you change the value of this resistance, and here you measure how much voltage appears here, plus minus, and you can also measure how much current is flowing. Okay, so with some voltmeters, ammeters, you can measure this voltage, this current, while you are changing this resistance. What you will see, if you plot a graph of voltage versus current, you will see what you expect. You expect that this voltage should remain constant at 1.5 volt, even if you are drawing more and more current. But practically what we will see is that as you are decreasing this resistance and therefore you are taking more and more current, the value of the voltage that you will get gradually drops. It will not remain 1.5 volt, but it will become maybe 1.4, 1.3. As you take more and more amount of current, the value of the voltage that decreases gradually. Why is that so?
Because of certain internal resistance.
Because
Internal
Because
Internal
it
resistance.
operates over chemical reaction.
What we are measuring
and
is the
over time
terminal
the
voltage.
chemical
Absolutely
resistance
right.
of the battery
Absolutely
degrades,
right.
causing
Okay. So
Due to release of heat.
because let me tell that when this current is flowing, this is also flowing through the battery, so it's flowing through the electrodes, the electrolyte chemical that you have, and all of those have some resistances. So electrodes have internal resistances, so there is internal resistance. Okay, and therefore there is also some volt. Whenever there is a current flowing through any resistance, there is voltage drop, and therefore some internal voltage drop is also there in the electrolyte, electrodes, everywhere. Okay, and how we represent this fact? We represent this fact like this. We say that there is some internal resistance, small maybe, R, in series with the battery voltage. Okay, that's how we represent this voltage drop. Although this resistance, we are drawing it separately from this source, but they are not separate. They are not separable at all. They are not distinguishable at all, because this resistance is present throughout the cell, I mean everywhere. So although I am drawing them separately, they are not actually separable. But this is how you can, or we can model the behavior of this voltage drop by putting a resistance, small resistance, in series with this battery voltage. Now what happens?
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, will the internal resistance that we are telling here increase as the current increases?
That is also an important thing. Yes. So as if you increase the current, then we have heating, joule heating, and if heating occurs, then for metals and other ohmic some materials, the resistance increases. For some material, the resistance may decrease. For example, for the electrolyte, the resistance may decrease. So therefore, as the current is changed, the value of this resistance also changes practically. Yes, you are right. But at present, we will not model that fact that this resistance also changes with the current. To make our life simpler, we will assume for now that this resistance is constant. Okay, so unless I tell you, you assume this resistance to be constant. In fact, you can assume that the heating is not that much, or it's not, temperature change is not that much. Yes. Yes, please.
Sir, this is the case when we took resistance is very less. What if we keep on increasing the resistance? Will the voltage remain 1.5, or still it will be less?
If this resistance is higher, then So okay, that's what I'm going to tell you. So you are right. If this resistance is higher and higher, then the voltage drop will be more and more. For the same value of current, we will get less and less amount of voltage. Yes, you are right. But let me tell that mathematically. We are assuming this resistance R to be constant. And here we have a voltage from here to here, which is constant E. But the voltage that we are looking at from outside is not E, but that is the voltage from here to here. And I amount of current is flowing here. Okay, so therefore we will have a voltage drop from here to here, which is given by I multiplied by R. Which side positive? Lower side positive, upper side. Okay, so we have I times R voltage drop. Let me write it clearly. I times R, this side minus, this side plus, because current is flowing from bottom to top. Okay, so now if I calculate how much is the voltage from here to here, that is E minus IR. So V is equal to E minus IR. This is the voltage that you can measure from outside. Okay, E is a constant, R we are treating to be constant. Okay, now how will the graph look like, V versus I? It is like a straight line. Okay, with a negative slope.
Straight line with negative
slope. With a negative, absolutely
and
right.
intercept equals to EMF.
Yes, so that line will be like this. Okay, so a straight line, this point will be equal to E, the intercept will be E, and the slope will be minus R. Okay, so that's how the graph looks like. And as one of you were telling that if this resistance is higher, then this graph will be more and more falling down with increasing current. Okay, so as you take higher and higher values of R, you will get more and more drooping voltage. Okay, now in fact I can extend this graph on the other side. My drawing is not straight, but yeah. Okay, so we can in fact extend it to the other side. How? If we are taking, say, another voltage source, which is strong, if we put another voltage source, okay, which may be stronger than this, okay, then current will actually flow in the opposite direction, and we will get a graph which is extended towards the negative current value. Okay, so this is the voltage versus current graph of a battery. Okay, and we call this a practical voltage source. This is not an ideal voltage source. For an ideal voltage source, what happens? This graph should remain horizontal. Okay, so this is for an ideal source, ideal voltage source, how the graph should look like. But for a practical voltage source, the graph looks like this, slanted down. Okay, and so a battery is a practical source, practical voltage source. And for a good voltage source, good practical voltage source, this R value should be small, and therefore this line should be as much horizontal as possible. The more horizontal the graph is, we will call that a better source. Okay, fine. Questions?
Sir,
Yes.
sir,
Hmm.
as per given representation of signs, equation is V equal to IR minus E, na sir?
V equal to IR minus E. No, you see, V I am taking as a voltage drop from here to here. Okay, V is a drop. So let me write in a different color. So V is a drop from here to here. Drop from the top side to the bottom side. Now from here to here, let us consider how much voltage drop we have. Here to here, how much is the drop?
E minus IR.
E is the drop.
E minus IR.
Right. Yeah, okay. It's E minus IR. Okay. So
Okay.
be very careful about the signs and whether you are considering drop or rise. Okay. So this is 3:55. You want a 5 minutes break? Okay, so let us continue.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, we have written V is equals to E minus IR, sir.
Huh?
Right, sir?
V,
This voltage is in battery or in the circuit, sir?
which voltage? V?
V is equal to E minus IR.
Yes. So which voltage you are asking about? V or E?
V is equals to E minus IR.
Right.
In this,
So here
which
V,
voltage does it represent, sir?
V is the voltage from this point to this point. Here to here.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Which is given.
Then the voltage in the battery is simply IR, sir.
Voltage in the, no, let me draw it clearly. Maybe my drawing is not nice. So you see this thing and this thing together is my battery. Okay. They together is the battery. It's not that only this is the battery, because both this EMF and the resistance, they are inside the battery, so you cannot separate them. So this is one terminal, so maybe this is one terminal of my battery, this is another terminal of my battery, and this is the connecting wire, the copper wire, and from here to here I am measuring the voltage drop from here to here, V, with this side plus, this side minus. This voltage is V, okay, which is measurable from outside the battery. And from here to here, that EMF, which you can never measure, which you can never see, that I am calling as E. Okay? And then this current is I, this resistance is R, same current I is flowing from bottom to top. So therefore, from here to here, we will have a voltage drop. Okay? Here to here, we will have a voltage drop, which is R times I. And which side will be plus? Lower side will be plus.
Lower side.
Upper, because current is flowing from bottom to top. So bottom side will be plus compared to the upper side. Okay. So now,
Okay, sir.
now you consider all the. So let me start from, say, this point. Okay. Let me call it A. Let me call it B. And let me say consider the voltage rise from A to B. Okay. How much is the voltage rise from here to here? Here to here, there is actually a voltage drop. no rise but drop. So I will write this as a negative voltage rise, I times R. And then from here to here, there is a rise, actually rise. So plus E. This is the voltage rise from A to B. But if I go in this path, okay, from here to here, then I have a voltage rise of V. So follow this path. Okay, so that voltage rise is V. So they are equal. So V is equal to minus IR plus E. Okay? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, you told us that E minus IR will be
Your
given
audio
straight
is
line,
not
but
clear.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yes.
Sir, you told us that E minus IR will be giving a straight line, but isn't the current also variable with the internal resistance of the battery?
Firstly, for a battery, we are assuming the internal resistance is constant. But the current is definitely variable. Okay, current is variable
No,
because, yes,
sir, the diagram which you showed here, the figure for the current voltage graph, here you were telling the thing that for ideal voltage source, the R should be minimum. So you are varying the internal resistance of the battery here, but the current would also be varying with the internal resistance of the battery, and therefore the graph wouldn't be a straight line.
no, for a given value of little r, the graph will be straight line. Okay, for one particular value of little r, if you are changing this capital R, then the graph will be straight line. And then if you change the little internal resistance also, for different values of little r, you will get different straight lines. Like this is one straight line for one value of little r, then maybe another straight line is like this for another value of little r. Okay, for a particular value of little r, the graph is straight line. And for different values of little r, we will get different straight lines. Okay?
So then if we are talking about a particular value of small r, then also capital I, the current, should be a function of the external resistance. Okay?
Yes.
Then the value, and if we are also keeping the external resistance as constant to obtain a graph between V and I, then the values are actually fixed. Then E is also constant, small r is also constant, then current should also be constant.
No. See, you take, you take E and little r constant, vary capital R or the external resistance. Okay, so therefore the current will change as well as the terminal voltage will also change. And then you plot a graph that will be a straight line. Okay?
Yes. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Acha, now let me proceed.
Sir, so here the voltage source is just the EMF, not the whole battery.
It is basically the EMF that you cannot directly measure. How you can measure the EMF of a battery? Just, I mean, a curiosity.
Potentiometer experiment.
With yeah, so basically what you have to do, you have to measure the value of this V when the current is 0. Okay, when the current is 0, then V will be equal to E, and in that way you can measure how much is this EMF internally, but otherwise you cannot measure it directly. You cannot access it at all.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, when we purchase a battery, sir, when we purchase a battery for say the 3-volt battery. So the 3 volt is EMF of the battery.
3 volt is the EMF, or you can say this is the terminal voltage when there is no current. Okay, if the current is 0, then that will be 3. Yeah, right. Okay, fine. Acha. So far we have seen that for a practical battery, if we are drawing current, then the voltage gradually falls down. That's what happens practically. Now let's think of a current source. We said that the current that flows through a current source is always constant. But for a practical current source, that may not happen. What may happen is this. Suppose I connect a resistance and I change this resistance, and then I measure this current, as well as I measure the voltage across a practical current source, and then I plot a graph. Okay. For an ideal current source, how do you expect this graph to be? Voltage versus current. For an ideal one,
Parallel to y-axis.
Parallel to y-axis, this should be constant.
Parallel to y-axis.
Yes. So as you change the resistance, as you increase the resistance, the voltage across it will increase, but current will remain same. This is true for a ideal current source. But if we take a practical one, and then if we do an experiment with a practical one, then this graph will look like this. So this is how the ideal characteristic, where current remains constant. But what will happen for a practical one, the current will gradually drop as, the value of the current gradually drops as the voltage is increasing. Okay, so this is for a practical one, practical source. This is for an ideal source. Okay, current source. Okay, as you take
so what happens downwards? Downward, what happens?
Downwards, I will tell you. I will tell you very shortly. Okay. Acha. Now, we saw that for a voltage source, that the fact voltage actually drops with more and more current, that can be modeled by putting a internal resistance together with the EMF. Can you guess what we may do to model this fact that the current drops with increasing voltage? How to model this fact? So the way we
apply a resistance in parallel with the current.
Absolutely right. So we will use a resistance, but not in series with the current source, because series resistance will not work. You try it at home. We have to use our resistance or conductance in parallel to the current source. Now, this current source together with this internal resistance, they together form a practical current source. And this resistance is inside the source, you cannot separate it from the source, you cannot get inside the source, only you can only access the source from these two terminals, these two outside terminals. These two are the terminals where you can connect anything you want, but you cannot unpack this box and see what is there inside. And you can, although I am drawing this source and this resistance separately, parallelly, they are indistinguishable, inseparable. Okay, but this is how we model it. Now, suppose this source has a value of I naught, and this resistance has a value of call it R naught. Okay, this is the internal resistance or internal conductance. This one. Okay, now I do the same experiment as before. I take a resistance, I change the value of this resistance, and I measure how much current I am getting here, and I measure how much voltage is present between the two terminals of the source. This side I am considering positive, this side I am considering negative. Okay, and then I plot the graph by varying the value of this outside resistance. Okay, can you find out the relation between I and V? See, if this voltage from here to here is V, then how much is the voltage from here to here? From here to here?
V.
It is also V. Absolutely right.
V.
Then how much current is flowing here?
I naught minus I.
Here, first here. At this point, it is V
naught
divided
by
R
naught by R naught.
Absolutely right. But this current is of course I naught, because this is an ideal source. So this is I naught, but one part of it is flowing internally, V by R naught. So how much is remained outside? This is
I minus
I by minus V by R naught.
absolutely
I naught
right.
minus
So
V by R naught.
we write
V by
here
R naught.
I is equal to V, I naught minus V by R naught. Okay, you may also write by rearranging this as V is equal to, if I bring it this side, it will be I naught R naught plus I R naught.
Minus.
Right.
I naught R naught.
Thank you. Thanks. I often make these mistakes. Yeah, right. Okay. Acha. So now you can plot the graph of V versus I, how it looks like. It will be a straight line, okay, with positive intercept and negative slope. Okay. Acha. Now, for yes.
Sir, is it that for any current source, if it's rated as I naught or I naught, then along it I naught current will always be there, no matter in which circuit it is?
Yes. So if you buy, say, a current source from, or you make some current source which is, say, 5 ampere, that means I naught is actually 5 ampere. But when you actually measure the current outside, that will be smaller from 5 ampere.
No, sir, I'm saying that if you have any type of circuit and you have this kind of current source in that circuit, then in the branch in which the current source lies, in that branch always the I naught current will flow. Is it true?
So yes, the thing is that this symbol is the symbol of an ideal current source. So if I use anywhere this symbol, okay, then that part of the circuit will behave as an ideal current source, and this current will definitely be I naught. Okay, so this is the symbol of an ideal source.
Sir.
Yes.
So sir, will you be providing this class note in the files?
Yes, no problem. Why not?
Okay, sir.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, in this equation, if I becomes I becomes 0, then what will happen?
If I becomes 0, that means
then it is crossing the voltage axis. Is it possible or practically feasible?
So that's a I mean practically
Sir, I think,
it's not at all I mean basically there is no source at all. That means only the resistance is present. If you make this 0, then as if this is not there at all.
Sir, I am making I 0, not I not 0.
You are making which
R
one?
can be infinite then, sir.
Capital I equal to 0.
Then capital R can be infinite.
Okay. So let me
infinite or there will be nothing.
Yeah. So let me come to your questions one by one. So one by one. So first of all, for if I make R naught infinite, then okay. So very good point. For R naught equal to infinity, that means this resistance is not there. It is open circuit. Then I will be equal to I naught.
I naught.
Okay. Then that means we have an ideal current source. So this is the ideal situation. Okay. Acha. That is one thing. Now, then you can readily guess that for a good practical current source, but good source, this value of R naught should be high. Higher the value of R naught, that will be a better source. Okay. So, and the lower the value of R naught, that will be a poor source, bad source. Okay. So, for a good source, this value should be as high as possible. And the same thing applies, actually similar thing applies for a voltage source also. For a voltage source, this resistance should be small, opposite.
Sir, if I becomes R I naught, then V should be equal to 0.
If I becomes here
I naught,
then V will be 0. Yes, right.
Sir, how is it possible if then potential difference across capital R should be I into R?
Potential difference across
capital R should be I into R.
No, please repeat your question. So you said if I equal to I naught,
we take R naught equal to infinity.
For R naught equal to, only for R naught equal to infinity, I will be equal to I naught. Yes. So then you are saying, Acha, how this equation satisfied? Okay. So in that case, you see I naught minus I multiplied by R naught. This quantity tends to 0. This quantity is 0, and this is infinity. 0 multiplied by infinity is something undefined. Okay. So it's not at all a problem. I mean, it's something we can ignore. Okay, and practically you can say if R naught tends to infinity, very large, then I naught and I will be close to 0, and a very large number and a very small number, their product can be finite. No problem.
Finite.
Okay.
Sir, why have you connected the small R naught parallel to this current source?
This is to model the practical behavior of a practical current source. Because if this is not there, then what will happen? If this is not there, if you open it, outside you will always get same current I naught, no matter whatever resistance you connect. But for a practical source that you may make or that you may buy from market, that doesn't behave in that way. For those sources, current gradually decreases as you connect larger and larger resistance, current decreases. Okay, so that behavior is mathematically modeled by this internal resistance. Yeah.
Sir,
why
I have
it's
two
not
questions.
in series?
One at a time, please.
I
Yes.
want to
Why
complete
it's
my
not in
doubt.
series?
I mean, please, one at Rohini first.
Sir, why it's not in series?
Why is not in series? Okay, so if I put a ideal current source I naught, and if I model it with a series resistance, okay, then and I pack these two in a box, okay, then from outside how much current we will get here? This current is I naught, so that must be flowing here, so that will always be I naught. Okay, so therefore,
Yes, got it.
yeah, okay, so
Yes, sir.
yeah, fine.
Sir, but don't we want this?
No. If we get this, then we will be super happy, because then we are getting an ideal, extremely good current source. But that's what we will not get generally. Okay, what we will get a practical source for which the current will gradually decrease as you connect more and more resistance, and that cannot be designed, that cannot be modeled in this way. That is the point.
Okay, sir.
Sir, how can we change the voltage V in the outer circuit?
In the outer circuit.
The outer.
So you think in this way, that this current source will automatically adjust the voltage so that the current remains fixed. So if you consider an ideal source, if you change the resistance, if you are increasing this resistance, this source will automatically increase the voltage between the two terminals so that the current is constant. You think that this is an intelligent source. Okay. It automatically adjusts the voltage so that the current remain constant. That happens for an ideal one.
Okay, sir.
But for practically, it will not be able to maintain the same current. Gradually, the current will slightly decrease. Okay, fine.
Sir, if there
Yes,
are two current,
Huh?
so if there are two current sources in the same loop,
Very
so if
good.
there are two current sources to each other,
Very good question. So, suppose I take a 1 ampere current source, ideal, and a 2 ampere current source. What will happen? This firstly, I will say, so in this course, we will come across many such similar questions and many such similar interesting situations for which my answer will be like this. We cannot and we also should not do this. Okay, cannot means, if I draw a circuit like this and if I ask you how much current will flow, that is meaningless. That has no solution. That question has no solution. So we cannot design or draw a circuit like that. But you may say, sir, what will happen if in the lab, if I take two such sources and still connect them in this way with a wire? Then you will say, sir, some current will definitely flow. I will say, you should never do that because that is very dangerous. Why? Let me tell you with another example which is easier to understand. What happens if I take two batteries with different potential, different EMFs, say 1 volt and 2 volt, and connect them in this way? You can say, sir, what will happen if we do this experiment in lab? How much current will flow?
Infinite current will flow.
very large amount of
very
current
large.
will flow, okay, because the resistance
If you
tend,
not
Short circuit.
it is a short circuit situation which is very dangerous. Okay, so
but
very
sir,
high.
wires will have,
Yes. Yes. Hello.
so wires or something which we connect would be having a resistance, and above we had a resistance, and here we also would connect resistance.
If there are resistances, if there are also these sources will practically have internal resistances. Therefore, the current will
But
not
sir,
be. Current will not be
But sir,
infinity.
above why? Sir, above why also if we connected resistance, then also it's short circuiting or something dangerous would happen.
If the resistance is very small, it is very dangerous. The smaller, because the internal resistances are expected to be small, okay, for voltage sources. So what will happen? A very high amount of, not infinity, but still a very high amount of current will flow, and that will cause a huge amount of heating, and the batteries may even explode. So in laboratory or anywhere, never ever try these types of dangerous things. That may be very dangerous, okay? So we should never do this. We can never do these types of things. Same thing, I mean, if you connect two current sources, they will try to adjust their voltages higher and higher to maintain their current levels, but they are opposing each other. It may be very, very dangerous. In fact,
So what if connect the current sources parallel?
A very good question. I will. One more request. It's very good that you ask all of these questions, but also hold some of these questions, because we also have to. I mean, anyway, we will cover. You'll get these answers anyway eventually. So you hold some of these questions till towards the end of the class. Okay, then we will answer. You'll get these answers automatically. Okay. So let me proceed. Let me proceed. We'll come back to these questions. Okay. Now, you saw that the graph of a practical current source is a slanted line, is an oblique line, not vertical. Okay, and also for a practical voltage source, this is also a oblique line. Okay, so here I am. So this is also an oblique line. This is also an oblique line. So you see that basically there is some similarity between this practical current source and this practical voltage source. There is some similarity. Note that point, and that will be very interesting soon. Okay, acha. Another thing you note, just hold your questions for few minutes. Okay, acha. Here, let me call this equation number 1. Okay, this is V equal to E minus IR, and look at this equation number 2, V equal to something minus IR naught. Now look at these two equations. Look at equations 1 and 2, and suppose we choose in this equation, let me write them once again so that I don't have to scroll. Okay. V is equal to E minus IR. This was equation number 1, and equation number 2 is V is I naught R naught. V is I naught R naught minus I R naught. This is equation number 2. Now let us choose our current source such that R naught is equal to R. That means let us take a current source whose internal resistance is the same as the internal resistance of our other voltage source. And also let us choose I naught equal to E by R. Okay, so choose the value of the current source such that this is equal to the value of the voltage source divided by R. Then what happens? You put these values in equation 2, and what will you get? Put these values in equation 2, you will get V equal to I naught multiplied by R naught, but R naught is equal to R, then minus I multiplied by R, and I naught is equal to E by R. So let me put that also here. Okay, so then you see that this R cancels, and this is nothing but equation 1. What does this mean? It means if I take a current source whose value, whose current value is given by E by R and whose internal resistance is given by R, then the VI, voltage current characteristic of that current source, will be exactly similar to the voltage current characteristic of the voltage source. Okay?
But the direction is very different.
No, direction will also be same.
Minus IR.
But here also minus IR.
Sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you repeat that?
Yes, I will repeat. So what I said that if I take, let me draw. So suppose I have a voltage source, practical voltage source whose EMF is E and internal resistance is R, plus minus. These two together is the voltage source, practical voltage source. Now I take a practical current source whose current value is I naught and internal resistance which is in parallel is R naught. These two together is my practical current source. Okay? Now let me choose the value of E naught equal to E by R and value of R naught equal to R. This is what I choose. I take a current source whose current value is same as this quantity and resistance is same as this quantity. If I do so, then for this current source, the voltage versus current graph will be exactly similar to the voltage versus current graph of this voltage source. Okay, so for both of them, so both will have exactly same VI characteristics. Okay, which if I draw here, that will be a voltage current, that will be a slanted line, somewhat slanted line like this. Okay, so what then this implies? This implies if I now suppose take two boxes and put this voltage source in one box and put this current source in another box, and then if I shuffle these two, and if I give you and ask you which box has the voltage source and which box has the current source, tell me that without opening the boxes, you can never tell that. Okay?
So both will be equivalent.
Both will be equivalent. That's the word, yes. Okay? What do we mean by equivalence in electrical engineering or electrical circuit? For example, suppose if we have two 5 ohm resistances connected in series, and if I put them in a box, sealed box, completely sealed box, and then if I take another single 10 ohm resistance, and if I put that in an identical box, from outside you cannot say which has the 10 ohm resistance and which has the series combination. Any experiment you do by connecting this in any circuit from outside will give you same result. Okay, so that's why we call these are equivalent. Similarly, in fact, you can take two resistances in parallel, say 20 ohm each, and you put that also inside a box. You cannot distinguish among any of these three. In fact, you can make many such other possible combinations. Okay, so all are equivalent. From outside, you cannot tell them apart. You cannot say which is which. That is one way of explaining equivalence. Okay. In the same way, I mean, suppose you have this current source whose current value is I0 and voltage value is R0. Then you can take a voltage source whose voltage value is say equal to, what should I take? I times R0, I0 times R0, and the resistance is R0. If I choose E equal to this value, given this current source, then also, I mean, you cannot distinguish which is which. Okay. Another way of saying is this. Suppose you have a larger circuit. Okay, you have a larger circuit. Okay, and many things are connected, interconnected, as many things as you like. Maybe let me also put some current source. So, okay. So, you see that this battery is a part of a bigger circuit. Okay. Now, suppose if this is E and if this is R, then what you can do in this same circuit, in this big circuit, let me copy. Okay, and let me, in place of this battery, let me put a current source such that this resistance is equal to this resistance and this current is E by R. Then this bigger circuit and this bigger circuit will behave the same way. Okay, so if here you are getting suppose 5 ampere current, then in this circuit also you will get same 5 ampere current. Suppose here you had 1 ampere current, you will get the same current here. Okay, so basically you can do.
You be muted.
Sorry, muted, sir. Sorry, yeah. By mistake that, yeah. So what I was saying is that suppose I have a bigger circuit and one component of that bigger circuit is this battery. Now in that same big circuit, if I replace that battery with this current source such that the current value is E by R and the resistance is same as this resistance, then in the remaining part of the bigger circuit, everything will remain same. Nothing will change. Okay, it's like you can do a transplant of this component with this component, and the rest of the circuit, remaining circuit, will not realize that something is changed. Okay, so this is another way of explaining what we mean by equivalence. Okay, you can change one with the other. Okay, let me take a small example.
Yes, sir.
Suppose I take a few batteries and all of them suppose has some resistances in series, maybe internal resistance, and I connect them like this. Okay, and suppose I tell that this is all of them are like this, plus minus plus minus plus minus. Suppose this is 4 volt and let me take this 2.5 ohm. Suppose this is 5 volt and this is say 2 ohm, and say this is 10 volt and suppose this is 1 ohm. And then I suppose connect here another resistance which is 1 ohm, and I ask how much current will flow. Suppose this is a question. Can you solve it? You can solve it in many different ways. Okay, but let us use our knowledge that we have learned just now. What I will do is this. I will say that this circuit is equivalent to the following circuit. So here we have a practical voltage source, so we will replace it. Let me just copy, that way it will be easier. So in place of this source, I remove these two and in place of that I put a current source in parallel with a resistance, such that these two circuits are equivalent. If so, what should be the value of this current? 4.
1.6.
This should be 4 divided by 2.5. So that is equal to 1.6, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how much should be this resistance? This should be 2.5.
2.5.
Okay. Now let me do the same thing with this source. Okay. So I will replace this with a current source in parallel with a resistance. This resistance will be same as 2 ohm, and this will be 5 by 2. 5 by 2 means 2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
Yes, right. And same thing here. So this will be 10 ampere, 10 by 1, and this is 1 ohm. Right? Now, okay. So now, while we are changing this, the remaining part of the circuit will stay unaffected. That means here whatever current is flowing, the same current must flow here. Okay, so and in this circuit it is easier to find how much is this current. Okay, so how can we find that? Acha, now
Resistance and equivalent.
yeah, so what we will do is this. So you see we have 1, 2, 3 current sources. So that means it is delivering 1.6, it is delivering 2.5 ampere, it is delivering 10 ampere. Okay, so all of this together, I can say that they will deliver a current equal to 1.6 plus 2.5 plus 10 ampere, which is 14.1, right?
Sir.
And then this resistance, and this resistance, they are connected in parallel. Okay, so you combine this and this, how much that will be? So that value, if I call it
6.
Let me just give me a second. 1, 2 and 2.5. So that value will be 1 over 1 plus 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2.5.
1.9.
How much is this?
1.9.
1.9. Okay, so this will be 1.9. So
It's
please,
coming 1.9.
yeah, so please check it. Please check it. Yeah. 1.9. Is it?
Sir, it should be 1 upon 1.9, I think. Maybe.
It can't be
1 upon
1.9.
1.9.
So let me do it. So this is
Around 0.5.
so if I say, for example, multiply this, if I make it
Yes,
10,
sir,
10,
it's 1
10,
upon 1.9.
so 10 divided by 10 plus 5
Sir, it
plus
is
4,
10.9.
19. So this is 1 upon 1.9. Okay, so
Yes, sir, 1
that,
upon 1.9.
that will be how much?
Yes.
Approximately 0.5, a little more than that.
A little more than 0.5.
Okay, so you do exact calculation at home.
0.52.
0.5.
526.
Okay, 0.526 ohm. Okay, and then here we have this 1 ohm resistance. Now this current is flowing through these two branches. Okay, so this current is 14.1 ampere, and part of it goes here, part of it goes here. How much comes here? So this problem is very similar to the first problem we solved today. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you can solve it. There is also a direct way of doing it. I hope you know current divider. So this current will be 14.1 multiplied by 0.562 whole divided by sum of this and this, 1.526.
4.7 of course.
Okay, so you will get whatever the value is. Okay, approximately 1/3 of that, yeah. So 4.7 something maybe. Okay, good. Acha. Any questions so far?
Sir, please
Yes.
share these notes in MS Teams.
Yes, we will. Acha. Okay.
Sir, one question.
Sir.
Hmm.
Sir,
Yes.
you said that 14.1 ampere is passing through 1 ohm resistor.
No.
So
It
no,
is-
sir, in the upper diagram.
In the upper diagram.
Yes, sir.
No. You see, acha, let me do it. So I can draw it like this. Then okay. So
Yes, sir.
a part of circuit analysis is basically how you can redraw the same thing, how you can visualize and in that way it becomes easier. Now after that, what can I do? This resistance, and this resistance, I can bring them. Let me do. Okay.
Sir, I understood no need to calculate.
Yeah. It's okay. Still, let me. How much it was? 14.1. Yeah. Still, it's good to do it. So let me just draw all the current sources side by side. 3 current sources I will draw side by side, and then because it's same, they are all connected together, and 3 resistances I'll connect side by side. Then here is the 1 ohm resistance, and these are 2.5 and 1.6. No, sorry, 2.5 and 1. You can combine these 3 together as one single resistance, and here you see that this current source is giving 1.6 ampere, this current source is giving 2.5 ampere, and this current source is giving 10 ampere. So now you apply Kirchhoff's current law. So here we should get the total current 10 plus 2.5 plus 1.6, that is 14.1. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So,
Sir,
yes.
sir, I did not get the calculation that you did 14.1 into 5 to 6 divided
This one?
by 1.5.
Acha. Okay, okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah. So, suppose if we have 2 resistances in parallel, R1, R2, and if this current is I, okay, then part of I will go here, call it I1, part of this will go here, call it I2. How much is I1, how much is I2 in terms of this total current? That you, I guess you may know, that is given by, it's called current divider rule. I1 equal to total current multiplied by R2 divided by R1 plus R2.
Divided by total resistance.
Okay, and similarly I2 will be total current times the other resistance divided by the total resistance. Okay, this is what you will also get from here. If you just take only 2 resistances, and if you solve it, if you remove R3, you will get that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Similarly, yes.
Sir, what we should do if we want to calculate the current in each branch? We could use the formula I naught minus V upon R naught.
Each branch means here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good question. Okay, so if I call it I1, so how can we calculate? So can I say I1 is 1.6 ampere? Can I say that?
No, sir.
We
No,
can,
sir.
absolutely right. Absolutely right. We cannot say that. Okay, because part of it will go through this, etc. Okay, so if you are interested in getting this current, now what you may do? Acha. Now,
Sir, we can just use KVL for each root.
yes. So you can do
Sir,
many things. One possible
KVL.
way is, once you
Sir,
know this
lots
current,
of ugly equations we can take the current of the other 2 branches and apply on these 2, means this branch and the resistor, to get the current.
yeah, there are many possibilities. I think in this case, what looks easier, once you know this current I, then this voltage will be how much? 1 into I. Once you already know this is the voltage plus minus, this is the voltage. And once you know this voltage from here to here, okay, so you know this voltage, then you subtract this voltage from here and divide by this resistance, you will get that. That may be, once you know this current, then it will be easier. Okay, we will do similar problems in our next few classes. Okay, Acha. Just one thing I request all of you is that, sometimes you should try to hold your questions, because anyway I will tell that, or anyway that will come in our discussion. Okay, so you hold your questions for some time, maybe after 1 hour, or not 1 hour, but after some time you ask these questions, because many of your questions will automatically get answered. Okay, yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes, now you can ask your questions. I'm not going to discuss anything more today.